Salutări din București, bine ați venit pe Încă Ceva. Numele meu este Marius, iar pe Încă Ceva găsiți singurele press junketuri din România, de la diferite producții pe care le face fiecare cum vrea. Dar ideea e că doar aici puteți să găsiți interviuri și participări efective la press junketurile internaționale. Dacă vreți să vedeți interviuri în România cu diferite producții, le găsiți chiar aici. Iar azi avem un nou press junket la care am participat, și anume la noul serial Vikings, și anume Vikings Valhalla, care apare zilele astea pe Netflix, așa că ar trebui să știți câteva chestii interesante despre el. Vine și recenzia tot astăzi, dar înainte de toate ar trebui să cunoașteți puțin main cast-ul. O să găsiți pe ecran cum îi cheamă, cine sunt și ce rolul joacă, și o să-i vedeți și în serial, bineînțeles. Dragii mei, fără să pierdem timpul, The Cast of Vikings Valhalla. My name is Marius, and I am from a Romanian YouTube channel called Încă Ceva.
Hello, Marius.
Hello.
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Good to see you. I should be looking at the camera, but I see you on a monitor here on the side.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's going to be a bit like this.
That's all right. No worries.
Well, I'm a bit, speechless. I have to say, Frida, you look amazing in the show, and you look amazing as well. You both look amazing, of course. That's without saying anything. But the change is tremendous.
Yeah.
The way you look in the show versus, the normal life, let's say. So people will be, shocked. But you are very, very beautiful. And you're beautiful also in the show, of course.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I was.
Well, you're disappointed that we don't have like the arms and the fur.
Yes, exactly.
You were expecting,
yeah,
you were expecting us to look like that. Yeah.
I was totally waiting for the Viking ladies. And then I got
And here we are in 2020, all boring.
It's disappointing, but I will get over it. So that's what it is. Both of you are from northern Scandinavian countries, basically, right? Mm-hmm. So I saw that a lot of people come from there in the cast. Did it take a lot of time to get everybody? Seeing that, I think there was a specific desire to get so many people from there. Was it actually?
I think what Jeb Stewart, our showrunner, together with our producers and MGM and Netflix, they had a desire to portray the Vikings with people who might have been descendants of Vikings. Mm-hmm. We still have Sam Corlett, who's from Australia, and we have Leo Suter, who's English. Mm-hmm. But maybe it is easier for us to tap into some kind of, Viking spirit because somewhere it resides within us from history. Also, we do a pretty complex accent. It varies a little bit from everyone, as you may have noticed. But maybe that was a wanting for them to have people of Scandinavian descent somehow.
It does feel really authentic in a way. Once you realize, it feels authentic because the production quality is super high. By looking at it, the second episode is the one that sells you the entirety of the thing, because you realize, this is not just a TV show. It is a TV show, but it's not produced as a TV show. It looks really, really expensive. And once you get that vibe of, don't laugh at it. It is.
No,
we're agreeing.
I agree. I completely agree, because that's how I felt as well. So
it's really, I was looking at it and comparing it to everything else Netflix does, and Netflix does a lot of things. And I was talking with the Witcher team production the last press junket. I was telling them, it looks really amazing. It looks really big. And then this Vikings Valhalla comes out, and I'm like, dude, it's really so big. It's really big,
Yeah.
And the special effects and everything. And it impressed me, like, Frida, congratulations. I don't know, was that the scene in the first episode with all the water, and was it real?
Well, that was something I will never forget for the rest of my life. We are blessed with this incredible crew. The majority of our crew have worked on Vikings, and the tutors, and they know each other really well. That's a great strength for us. We work hard. There's really long hours, and for us to be able to lean on a crew that is so technically skilled, what they can bring in terms of production value I mean, I'm there at set every day. We're filming in very tough conditions on top of mountains, remote locations. We don't always have, it's not always the easiest. And I feel like what they deliver is incredible. The storm sequence in episode 1, I mean, there's a green screen tank. We're on this actual sized ship that's hanging on 2 wires being propelled. There's 2 wind machines from each side. There's big water tanks that dump 1 ton of water each second in our faces. There's wave machines. There's like storm machines. I mean, when I'm holding on, when Sam
you're really holding on.
I'm like, I'm holding on, It's like, you're trying to open your eyes because there's just water in your face. That was very little acting involved on those days that we were on the ship. It was basically just trying to survive. And then you're in like sealskin fur, which is not, it's very heavy when it's wet. So
the costumes are amazing.
The costumes are amazing. And I'm
Caroline, they're telling me we need to wrap it up. So I want to ask you also something. Basically, you're playing this. I don't know if your character is inspired by reality, but you made it you crafted your character and you played it so that it looks actually genuinely from that world. And that's it's meant to be a compliment, of course. So was it hard for you? How did you feel on the set? I mean, for both of you, because there's Vikings, bunch of men, bunch of dudes that have an ego problem, basically. So how was it for you to get into that character, into that female character?
Yeah, I mean, I think for Frida and I, we loved our characters, obviously. We loved playing these strong, fierce, very sort of driven females who are not driven by sort of a man or a family, but a cause, a vision. And that was unique for us. And we found that very inspiring and very empowering to do. So, yeah, it was a different take on the whole Viking situation because we're not sort of a sidekick to some big man. We are sort of women in our own right. So that was amazing and something I hold very dear.
Good. Well, ladies, they're telling me I need to wrap it up. So, well, thank you very much. I wasted half of it complimenting you, but it's okay. It's fine.
No, it's not a compliment. Thank you so much, Barry.
Thank you so much.
I hope you have a nice junket. And well, thank you again and take care. Have fun.
Thank you so much.
Goodbye. Hello, Mr. Vikings. How you guys doing?
Hello, Marius. Good. How are you?
Hi. How are you?
I am very, very fine. I'm happy to have this interview with you. And I have to say, Mr. Lemon Cloak, I have to say this. You're probably never you're never gonna waste that. You're always gonna have it.
Lemon Cloak. Absolutely.
Exactly. Forever and ever. When I saw you on the show, I was like, fucking Lemon Cloak.
Yeah. Well, they kept the actual cloak on in the show. The bloody hound was wearing it in the season after, as well as my boots.
You should have taken it, to be honest. You should have just said, like, guys, you need to give me this.
Well, but maybe let's something off the set of Vikings Valhalla.
Exactly. And I hope you're going to have a proper stay. Basically, you guys. So I just talked to Frida and Katerina and Catherine. Basically, Katerina. I just talked to them, and I was telling them the same thing I'm going to tell you. How does it feel to work on a TV show that doesn't really feel like a TV show? Because it really feels massive. Like when I watched the first episodes and the whole CGI with the army and everything and a bunch of people and all those extras, it feels like a very, very high budget show right now.
Yeah, so well, that's true. What has changed in the last couple of decades is that television has become much more of a production. So that's true. When you're on the set, it feels like a movie, but then filming just goes on and on and on because it's a TV show. It's not a movie. But you're right. It's a marvelous feeling. Really, it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't feel like a TV show. Doesn't feel like a TV, apart from the fact that it goes on and on and on. But the scale of it is enormous. Some mornings you turn up to not even our sort of main base of operation on the studio or on the back lot, but to a location maybe 20 or 30 miles away, and there's an entire city of marquees and tents and trailers and trucks and lighting and rigging, and these huge sets have been built, for such a short period of time, really. And you just think, wow, this is really big. You really get a sense of the scale of it some mornings.
It does raise the quality of the show to a. I mean, the expectations when you go into it. Of course, if you've watched the previous shows, the Viking shows, you have an expectation that okay, they're going to be big enough and good enough, But then you watch it, and I really wasn't expecting it to be this good, to be honest. Like, really wasn't expecting it to be this good. And then the acting and the storyline also, you don't expect a show to start so hard in the first episode. Like, first episode is like 5 punches in the gut.
It really kicks off, doesn't it? Yeah, exactly. That's what I liked about the script. It kicks off.
I was not expecting that at all. It's just all of a sudden you go like, oh, it just got off. So
also, like reading the scripts, I remember getting to episode 4, which really feels like the climax of a whole season, but it just episode 4, but then it moves on and it gets even bigger and bigger, and it's
it feels like 2 or 3 seasons crammed in. It's like a lot more action, but without cutting in the story, and that's what I really liked about it. So Bradley, one thing for you, of course, it's like everybody's Scandinavian on this show. Like, everybody's Scandinavian. Everybody comes from northern countries. Like, how did they find you? How did you come into Vikings?
Well, I mean, everyone apart from obviously Sam, who's Australian, and Leo, who's from Oxford.
There's a lot of northern people. Like, I was watching it and I thought, this must be intentional. This must be intentional because it feels like
the honest answer to that is I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I mean, I have no idea how
you fit the part amazingly.
The net is obviously thrown very wide, casting bracket wise, because as I've said, the cast are worldwide, and not only people who have come from different countries who now live in Scandinavia or now live in the UK, but there is a proper international cast. So take it from me, I feel very lucky that they did find me, and very happy.
They did
look for Canuts. I mean, I know a lot of Scandinavian actors, and they were searching for King Canute in all of the Nordic countries, but they found him just across the pond in Wales, the body of Bradley Frigard.
Why I asked the question is because it feels like the producers wanted to have this authentic feel about the show as well. Like, let's try. It was probably intentional. Like, let's try to get as many Viking descendants as we can.
Yeah, there's more of that nowadays. If you're doing a story about Nordic people, you'll try and cast Nordic people. Doing a story about Asian people, you'll try and cast Asian people.
But sometimes if you do that, you might find yourself, in a corner. But they didn't. They actually managed to get a lot of good. I was telling Frida as well. Like, she looks so different in real life than the way she looks in the show. It's amazing transformation, and the work is of course great. Guys, I cannot ask any more questions, sadly, because these are very short interviews. It seems I only have 5 minutes for you guys. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. I'm glad you got to talk to Frida as well, because she is definitely my favorite on the show.
Really?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Well, both. I know her personally. She's my favorite person in the world. But watching the show, she's my favorite character as well.
She does have a very nice. I mean, also the character arcs are very, very nice. Of course, for her, because she starts the show with the ending of the first episode. It's like, what the fuck just happened? I don't expect. I was expecting you to die, to be honest. But
yeah, that's what I thought when I was reading the script.
In the first, Bradley, of course, thank you very much for both of you. Of course, I have to wrap it up. Thank you. Good luck in the next interviews, and
thank you.
Good luck with the show. Have a nice one. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Bye. My name is Marius. I am from Romania. The outlet is called ceva.ro or YouTube Încă ceva, which means another thing. That's it.
Another thing.
Hey, guys. Hello, Vikings, which are not Vikings, but they are Vikings. You guys did an amazing job. I love the show, and you too. Actually, I think a lot of people are going to love you two because, well, central characters, of course. But you did an amazing job. I was not expecting it to be this good. And that's both a compliment and not a compliment. But it is a compliment because it's really super good compared to everything that came before.
Yeah,
Sorry?
I was going to say we certainly had something to live up to. So, I mean, the original series was really brilliant. And I
have to say, for a show to kick into gear with the first season this high, looking this good, and delivering so much action and story at the same time, because I was talking earlier to Lemon Cloak, basically, and to King Canute, and I was talking to them, and I told them that it feels like the season packs 2 seasons. Like it's so much action in it, and it looks so good. How is it to work on a show that looks and feels this big? Because it does feel big.
Firstly, Marius, thank you.
Both of you. Leo first.
Thank you for the hype, and I'm so glad you enjoyed it. It's very kind words. And
the truth.
Yeah, well, it's very kind, so thank you.
Thank you.
But what it feels like to be in, as you say, it's a big show that packs a lot into small episodes, and it's fast moving, and it's relentless. And there's a joy in that because you feel a great sense of fulfillment at the end of the day. You're getting through a lot of work, and it's demanding your full attention. But it's quite nice to really have to throw yourself into something.
Oh no, it's such a gift. I mean, to be honoring the legacy of the show and taking it to the next stage in history, and also with a new showrunner, Jeb Stewart, instead of Michael Hurst, who did a brilliant job, very poetic. I think Jeb brings, with his CV of Die Hard and The Fugitive, I think there is a certain elevation of the action elements, but also I think the characters unfold slowly. And so I found myself, as reading the scripts of each character, like leaning forward, like who is this person? And I think as they slowly, they don't reveal all of themselves straight away. And so that certainly
the male archetypes, I was especially with Vikings, because of course, giving all that is due to the previous series and show, the male archetypes were a lot more, one-sided, two-sided maybe in the old one. And in this new one, it does feel like they are trying to build the characters up a bit more introspective. I mean, you feel like the characters are human beings and not just brute barbarians driven by, okay, I need to revenge my father. That's it. Done. I'm going for that, It does feel a lot more modern in that sense, but at the same time, it does manage to keep this sense. I'm going to say this. The previous show, again, giving all the praises, because Sam said he loved the show, and I agree. It's a great show. But this one, for me, it feels like it's a head above the previous one. Even in terms of cinematography, it might be because the production team comes and is gelled together. Frida was saying that. But it feels better. And that's why I'm asking, like, do you also feel like this is not just, as an actor, you go from gig to gig to gig to gig because you have to do it. It's your job at the end. But does it feel, I don't want to load the question, preload, but does it feel better? Does it feel bigger? That's the question. Does it feel like it's a massive undertaking and it's bigger than the rest of things?
I think it would probably be, it's not helpful as an actor really ever to compare one show to the other. And I think for us to do our work well, it's a fool's game to begin to think, is this better? Is this worse? But what I would say is, to your point of the complexity of the characters and how rounded they are, I think that's one of the things that always amazed me with my talks with Jeb, who was very collaborative and telling us how the story was going to unfold and elements of our character.
Tell us what happens. Tell us.
Well, he has so many threads of story. He calls them plates spinning in the air. And he's got all of this in this incredible web within his brain. And you really get a sense when you talk to him of all the elements that are going into each character and how important each little moment is, each little scene is to the whole picture. There's a beautiful marriage of micro and macro. Every little interaction actually has a meaning within the framework of the series itself. and
so you're hyped as well.
during seasons. So
you're hyped as well, basically.
So I was hyped. If that's what you want, yeah, we were hyped, man. Of course we were. I think we knew we were doing something special and making something special within the realms of a lockdown and the pandemic. I think we could all tell that we were making a pretty special thing. I think that's definitely true.
Yeah,
cool.
I think like my conversations with Jeb, first of all, were very like open and vulnerable. And so like we spoke about our lives. We spoke about what we want to say in the world as artists. We spoke about like, you know, what has happened in our lives that we want to honor and respect and somehow express through this form, this show. It was like a real gift to collaborate with him in that sense. And in terms of the previous series, like Leo said, no comparison. Like I really loved that show, and I watched that with my dad. And so for us, it was about staying grounded, doing the show.
So for you, basically, it's a lot more. It's also, a lot more. You were also a fan of the previous show, basically.
Yeah.
Not just watched it, but a fan. You know,
I was, and so was my dad, and we watched that together. So there was certain an element of sentimentality to it.
Cool. Sure. Sadly, they are telling me we are out of time. We need to wrap, and I thank you very much for the seasons, and have a nice one. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
My name is Marius from Romania, and the outlet is ceva.ro. And that's it. Okay. Well, the villains. Hello, villains. How do you do?
We're not the villains. We are massively underrated. Like we're charming other people from weird climes.
I really thought about it. Like everybody else, I was like, "Hello, Vikings," and then I thought, the villains. Okay. Well, let's talk with them as well.
What does that make Kore then? What about the slightly dubious Vikings?
The thing is,
anti-heroes we prefer.
Watching the show, I'm thinking maybe at the end you're not going to be the villains. You know, like hopefully the way it unfolds. You know, like Laura, you do an amazing job to sell the character, of course, and I was surprised. Like, once I saw you were German, and I was like, well, Berlin, of course, but you know. And then I was like, okay. Well, she sells the part really well. You look British enough, like more than enough, actually.
French.
And I was like,
she's Norman. She's not British.
Well, yeah, but you know, basically after the battle of I can't remember the name of it, with William the Conqueror. But basically, at some point, there were mixed blood in there, you know. So, well, you're British now. Yeah, that's it. You're the queen, it seems.
And Norman and German.
And Norman, of course.
Amazing.
And David, you do a great job in the portrayal. Like I'm looking at you now, there's a big difference between, and you sell the character very well as well. So good job on that, I guess.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. How do you guys feel about the show? That's the first question. I told everybody two things basically. The show looks massive. It looks way bigger than the previous show. The previous show looked big enough. It came to be big enough, you know, with success. But this one, I don't feel like it's a spin-off. I feel like aside the Viking thing at the tagline, it doesn't feel like a spin-off. It feels like its own thing, and it feels a lot bigger. So how do you guys feel about it? Like you're acting in it, you're playing in it. How does it feel from your barricade? You know, how do you feel about it? Because the fans, well, we think it's big.
I think you sit there with the legacy of the previous show, and that sort of motivates you to keep trying harder. But I think you've hit the nail on the head, which is that the amount of thought, effort, and not a little money that have gone into it to make it its own entity, to kick off season one with such vision and scope is something quite incredible. Jeb has always sort of said this great thing about how normally when people approach him to write a TV show or a film, whether it's Die Hard or Fugitive or whatever, like they say, okay, you start at the beginning and then you build up, and you hit climax at the end, a big old battle and whatever. What he's done with this and what he tries to do in other series that we may or may not have shot yet, is to build to a massive battle halfway, something that you think can't possibly be bettered, and then to start building back up again to do something even bigger. So his singular ambition, I think, resonates throughout the entire fabric of the show, in every single character, to everything, single plot. And I think, yeah, it's got a lot to do.
How's it for you, Laura? How do you feel about it?
Well, could you repeat the question for me?
How do you feel about the fact?
Sorry,
How do you feel about the fact that the show? I mean, don't know if how do you feel about it, but the show looks massive. It looks really big. It looks completely different though from the previous show. So it's kind of a spin-off from that, but it's not. So how does it feel for you to come and act into this one and have a role in this one? And does it feel like a big thing, you know? Because everybody until now, and I'm going to give you the spoilers for everybody's answer, everybody's like, yeah, it feels really, really big, you know? So how does it feel for you, Laura?
Yeah, I mean, the approach was to create something new. Of course, we were all aware of that, you know, the Vikings legacy, of course. But, you know, we all wanted to create something that is new and something special. So yeah,
it feels, does it feel like its own thing, you know?
Yeah,
like, do you guys feel
it's
your own thing? Yes, good.
Yes,
very
absolutely,
good.
because we were all working together from the very first moment, and so we together with our creative team and Jeb and production, we created these characters that haven't been before, so they're new and they're...
You guys are the third and fourth person that says, well, you know, Jeb is really doing an amazing job. Jeb is doing really an amazing job. It feels like, aside the fact he's a producer, of course, and he needs to talk to you guys a lot, it feels like he has the story already mapped out. And
he's not got the story of season 1 mapped out. He's worked out seasons 1 through 5. Like, he knows where it's going. Like, I'm not saying we're necessarily making 5 seasons. Who knows? I might get fired. But like, he knows not only where the broad strokes of the stories are going, and not just the history within it. He's filled in all the weird, minute historical, vague gaps in between. So when he's gone, there's this gap in history where we don't know how Canute, Godwin,
I'm telling you,
Emma,
this is going to be a big show. I'm telling you.
And I think, and I know we're biased, but I think one of the things that makes it particularly interesting for those who love the Vikings is it draws out the resonance of the Norman influence and brings in the Saxons in such a way that you've got these 3 powerhouses of Northwestern Europe all smashing into each other with ambition and bravado and blood and tears.
It feels like it's well thought out. That's why the fact that the pacing of the character introductions, the way the characters are arcing as well. The first episode that started such a fucking, sorry for that, but it started on a big ass boom, you know? Like, nobody was expecting the first episode to go like 3 slaps in the face, you know? It's like, whoa, nobody does that. And that's why I'm thinking, like, I don't know how much, now you confirmed it, that he has the entire thing planned out, and that's a really good thing to know. And I think does it help you guys to
you can't write a thriller with all the twists and turns of where you may or may not go without knowing exactly the end point, whether it's the individual ambition of a character or the overall arc of the story. And to have such strong hands at the head of it with Jeb, who is always open for people to come up to his office to have a chat and to discuss what you want to do with it, and open to suggestions too. Like, that's not closed down. Just because he knows where he wants to go doesn't mean that you can't color in or join the dots.
Where's my interview?
Sorry, Laura can say things too.
I agree. I also wanted to say that Jeb always repeatedly said, my door is always open. If you have an idea or whatever, just come to my office.
That must be a dream come true for an actor.
And that's what he truly meant, and I really appreciated that.
Some showrunners say the door's always open and then just don't listen to you when you're through the door. But not only is Jeb... No, his door is open. He will listen, and then he writes something amazing. So yeah, we love him to bits.
Super. Guys, I need to wrap it up because these interviews are really, really short. I would love to talk more about the show. I hope you'll have a fantastic career-driven moment from this onwards, and I hope that everybody will understand the amazing word that went into it, because it really does feel amazing. Thank you very much.
Max. And thank you for having the most amazing office for us to look at whilst talking to you, because it's been fascinating to see what you've got on your walls.
I'm trying. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.